we all started a special training called the Hashira training, where people were to switch Hashiras after completing a certain training that the Hashira teaches. The first begins with curling basic physical fitness, workouts with Uzui, followed by lessons from Mitsuri-san, learning how to be more flexible, and then with Miyu-kun in high-speed movements. Iguro-san will teach better swordsmith, then Shinagawa will teach in making infinite strikes, and Hajijin, I think that's how you say his name, will also do very, very intense strength training. Oh, and what do I do? And what was I doing? Unfortunately, there was no training I could do that would help their physical bodies nor swordsmanship. If I were some type of training, it would be no sense, emotions, or spiritual. Then again, learning how to sense auras like I do would probably be a useful skill, but I also understood that it might be just something I'm born with and not a skill I acquire, like how Tanjo is born with heightened sense of smell. My mother was also able to sense auras. She says it runs in the family, much like how we give off a loving, calming, and soft aura. Though she said mine is especially strong, she said a person could just take a single look at me and instantly feel relaxed. That made me happy that I could feel a sense of calm to someone who is stressed. That aura is also a good defense, no discussion for our fighting spirit, which throws off our enemies. Oh, did I forget to mention that Doma came by finally? Oops. When he actually came and tried to give me a hug, Akaza kicked off his head before he could, hitting my tree. Then I spent a few minutes cleaning my tree and establishing a new rule that they couldn't fight each other unless absolutely necessary. That also meant that Akaza couldn't punch him just because he's annoyed. I got a note from the master with 2 missions. Not normal Demon Slayer missions, though. I was first tasked to have joined Giyu to join up and face things forward. He wanted me to talk to Giyu and encourage him. Then he asked me to also meet up with Shinobu, cause her and Miss Tamio were working on a cure and a poison for demons. That was going to be something I could handle easily when Doma decided to let me go. Since the 3 have arrived, they kinda acted different than I remember them acting. Akaza isn't too different, but he seems more open with me than he was before. Kogashibo isn't too different either, but he still doesn't say much. But when I come home and he's awake, he will follow me around and try to help with whatever I'm doing. Something I've learned is that he's really good at doing domesticated home stuff, like taking care of the garden or preparing dinner. He also bards with me and really tries hard not to go hard on me, but he somewhat has a bad sense of knowing his strength. There have been some few incidences where he almost cut off my arm. The first couple of times it had happened, he had said that he would commit shibuku, or suicide, as a punishment. I had to use all my strength to hold his sword away from his stomach, telling him over and over, it's fine, and he can just cut himself. What? Okay. Sorry, it was a note from the author for a drawing, but yeah. Doma has been more touchy and more talkative. When I'm not doing anything, he'll just talk to me while also hugging me from behind or playing with my hair. Living with these 3 is definitely something. It's almost never peaceful. One time I had my wisteria water in hand, and Doma surprised me and I accidentally splashed the water in his face. His entire face started melting, and I screamed. The other two came in. Kokushibo came in to see if I was alright, while Akaza smashed Toma's head through the floorboards. I'm getting off track here. Back to the story. After I got out of Doma's grip, I went to talk with Gyu. They all wished me safe travels, and I told them to get along and behave while I was gone. Then I went to Gyu's place. He opened the door instantly when he heard it was me. He gave a small smile. Good evening, Yin-chan. Good evening, I'm going to say Tokia. Tomika. I think that's how I say his last name. San. Before he saw me, I sensed a strong aura. Tokumiya-san, was something mad you upset recently? He was quiet for a moment. I suppose I'm a little upset. Tanjiro Kamado doesn't master water breathing. He was supposed to become the water Hashira. That role must be filled. I then cupped his face, and checked his face. I went behind him and checked his head. What are you doing? Just checking. Checking for what? Any head injuries? What? Why? 'Cause I think you forgot you're the water Hashira, Gyu. No, I'm not. Then I gave a confused look. He walked away. I was determined to figure out what that meant and help him, not just for the master request, not just to quench my own curiosity, but for the help of my dear friend who obviously needs help. The way you did that was you didn't leave his side all day and continuously talked to him. Mitsuri saw this and followed for a while, and was jealous and obsessed, oblivious. Jealous by how much attention you were giving him. She was offended because he just ignored you. How dare Gyu? This lone wolf persona, isn't that cute when he ignores our precious angel? He should enjoy her presence while he can, 'cause soon she'll just be my precious angel. Once I gather the courage to ask her out. But now, isn't that the best time? Eventually, when you and Gyu reached a bridge, he caved in. I haven't passed final selection. You haven't? That's right. That year, there was a boy like me who had lost his family to demons. His name was Sabito. He had flesh-colored hair. We took final selection together. We were both 13 years old, the same age and alone. We quickly bonded. Sabito had a strong sense of justice and was a kind boy. He was also the only one who died in final selection that year. He killed all the demons on that mountain, almost single-handedly, and yet everyone had passed. I was amazed to learn about this person. I was saddened to hear such a great and talented person had died. I was so injured by the first demon that attacked, and I fell into a daze. Sabito came to my aid. He entrusted me to another boy, and left in the direction of the voices calling for help. The next thing I knew, final selection was over. I had somehow survived the 7 days of final selection and passed, but you can really say that someone who didn't defend a single person and had to save by someone who actually passed? I'm not worthy of becoming the water Hashira. I can't even stand shoulder to shoulder with the other Hashira, especially you. I'm different from you. I don't deserve a place in the Demon Slayer course. I felt the most sad and depressing aura come from Gyu. His behavior made total sense now. You should be practicing to manifest the mark. I know I don't. Sabito might have it. Don't bother with me anymore. I'm a waste of your time. Just by his aura, I could tell. He wishes he was dead. I know what that feels like.
When someone close to you dies, I know Gyu wish that he could have died instead of him. I don't have a doubt that his friend Sabito would have been an incredible swordsmith. Makes me kinda wish I got to meet him. But Gyu shouldn't feel this way about himself. No matter how he feels, he has to keep on living. Gyu doesn't see himself as one, but I see him as a Hashira. I can tell he worked harder and struggled, as well as I struggled. I thought back to my mother, and about the night she saved me. When I think of that, why did I live, but she didn't? There's one reason. I always tell myself the same thing every time, and I was going to tell Gyu the same thing, because the same thing Sabito gave to Gyu is the same thing my mother gave to me. Gyu, don't you want to make use of the gift that Sabito gave you? He stopped dead in his tracks. His aura changed. It was one of shock, then remembrance. A memory must have occurred as I said that, apparently a very important one too, at that. Yin-chan, thank you for making me realize how immature I was being. You're right. I should make use of the gift Sabito has given me. I smiled and ran to him, jumping on him and giving into a hug. You know, Yin-chan, you remind me a lot of Sabito. I smiled, more seeing him smile. Don't put yourself down anymore. I know it's hard to get out of a mindset sometimes, but I'm here to help you out of the sea of doubt. You're amazing, Gyu. You deserve the title of the Water Hashira. You work hard and earned it. You even created your own water breathing form, a powerful and amazing one at that. You're incredible, swordsmanship, Gyu. I started chanting Gyu-san as I cheered. Gyu just stared at you with the most lovesick look. He believed he was looking at his savior, a guardian angel, here to save his soul. For the first time in years, a glitter of life returned in his eyes. His heart was beating rapidly. His face was turning red. He had butterflies in his stomach, and he had a dumb smile on his face. He stopped and grabbed his hand. Come on, let's go get some soba, my treat. He just let you pull him along. After all, he didn't have the will to deny you. The entire time, he couldn't stop smiling. Just being near you made him happy and made him smile. When you would smile and laugh, though, he was taken to heaven. You became his everything.